Welcome everybody. Hi, I'm Jorianne, the Coffee Psychic, and we are going to have a wonderful show today. Something that I think both men and women are really going to find very interesting, and I think it's going to have you think about the way we look at love a little differently. So again, I'm Jorianne, the Coffee Psychic, and a lot of people ask me, what does the Coffee Psychic mean? Well, I'm a professional psychic, and I use a cup of coffee as though it's a crystal ball. So it's the medium that I use. It's the major form of divination. And the way I became the Coffee Psychic is I used to drink 30 to 40 cups of coffee a day. And when I did that, there was a day where my sister-in-law's cousin, who is Hispanic, showed me that in the Hispanic culture, they would take a black cup of coffee, pour cream into it, and they would see images. And because I used to drink my coffee Boston, and for those of you that are good coffee drinkers, you know that Boston means a lot of cream. I was able to pour the cream in daily, and I'd get all of these images, and then I'd ask people, does this make sense to you? And they almost always said, oh my God, that's happened to me. So that's where the Coffee Psychic title has come for me. So getting to our amazing show today, I've got a wonderful guest, Mr. Bruce Hart. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jorianne.
Thank you so much. Now, I want people to know that what we're going to be talking about today is this fantastic book right here. Okay, if we can see this. The name of this book is In Honor of Women. That's why I believe that, look, ladies, everybody should be watching this show today, because the things that are going to be said here, I don't know if you've ever heard them before. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about Bruce. Bruce has been a police officer in the railroad for over 35 years.
Retired.
And Bruce, we've known each other for at least 10 years that I know of. And we take mutual courses together. And the things that I hear just fall out of your mouth when you speak about women. It's not only inspiring, but it's so heartwarming, and I really didn't even know that there are so many amazing men out there like you that feel this way about women. So, I mean, there are times where I just can't get enough of talking to you and hearing these little pearls of wisdom that you have written in this book. So, and it also says, in small print, it says, Your Weekly Guide to Living Well Through Women's Wisdom by Bruce Hart. So the first thing I want to ask you, Bruce, is how did you get this smart, actually, or so inspired about women? Where did that come from?
It came out of a revelation I had in 1994. I was laying on a chiropractor's bench. In fact, I can read it from my book, but that'll be later. I'm laying on a chiropractor's bench, and this type of chiropractor, you might be on the bench for 45 minutes. And all of a sudden, I had the experience of being back in the womb. I knew where I was, but it was an experience of being back in the womb. And while being in there, I heard myself speak, I lived my life in honor of women. It was a very moving experience. There were tears that came and everything like that. And I realized, shortly after that first initial realization came, that all men live their lives in honor of women, whether they know that or not. And the mark of a man is how he treats women, and the quality of a man's life is determined by his relationship with women. Even though men leave the womb, they're always psychically attached to it.
Okay, so basically it goes back to that saying, behind every great man is their woman.
Yeah, women are the driving force. Women are the puppet masters, if you want to use that terminology, that drive men to their highest level of functioning. Men without women don't reach their highest levels.
What would you say then, Bruce? We know basically that everything revolves around love. Love is the only truth that there truly is out there. But there seems to be so many relationships. I personally have had some relationships that did not work out. I know and I believe firmly that in the law of karma, that we get reincarnated and we work on different relationships. Possibly some things didn't work out in the past. But on the soul's evolutionary journey, to perfect itself with God, we have to have some distress. We have to have some upsets, things like that, because that's what projects us into further growth. So when you say that when a man and woman get together and there is a breakdown in the relationship, what would you say about that?
Well, it's, number one, it's a give and take. Most people in relationships really don't know how it works. And men don't totally understand women, and women don't totally understand men. But women understand men more than the other way around. Mm-hmm. So men and women are totally different. Mm-hmm. Women want constant change because female energy is the world. Mm-hmm. Women are Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. So women want constant change, and men naturally want everything to stay static. Mm-hmm. In fact, I said if it wasn't for women, we'd still be in the cave. So there's a breakdown in understanding how each other works.
Okay. So now we're going to get your book, and we're going to talk about some of the sayings that I know they came directly from you. I sometimes think when I've heard of some of the things, when I've read some of these things in your book, I go like, wow. I don't know if like there's this amazing higher spirit channeling through you or what it is. And I don't want to take away from your greatness, right? Because I know that this is coming from you and your knowledge and your wisdom and your experience. What would you say to a woman who is in a relationship and she so loves this man, but they're having problems? What would you say? What advice would you give her?
Well, the first advice I'd give a woman in a relationship, before that relationship even occurred, a woman to totally win and to totally be taken care of needs to be in a relationship with a man who loves her more than she loves him. Okay. When there's an imbalance in love and a man and a woman loves a man more or equal, it really doesn't work. So from my experience, women need to be in a relationship with men who love them more, because women need to be treated like goddesses. Women are the generators of the world, the power source. So to the degree a man loves a woman, he's feeding that power source, and she feeds it back to him and raises him to his highest level of functioning. Okay.
And we really do know that women are Mother Nature. I mean, the babies come from the women. Yeah. And of course, without women, where would the men be?
Yeah. Well, even in the beginning of the declaration I made up for women to speak to themselves in the world, mm-hmm. I said, well, let me read the declaration.
Could you go ahead and, would you please?
Sure. So I wrote this declaration about, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. A declaration for women to speak to themselves and to the world. I gave birth to the world and all its glory, beauty, and love. I gave birth to men to be the heroes and builders of the world. I am a goddess. I have always been a goddess, and I will always be a goddess. I am everything. What I deserve is everything. Men are heroes, and they are here to love, honor, cherish, and adore me. And when they do, I will bless and heal them with my radiance. That really says it all in a very short piece. And most men don't realize the full power of women. I realized that in 1994.
And out of
that realization, it expanded to me really looking into the man-woman game, to really looking in the world and seeing if what I had realized, I knew it before, if it fit, and it's absolutely always fit. So, in fact, while I have the book open here, I'll read you the foreword, and this is actually what brought forth all of these looking into life things that I've done about man-woman. The inspiration for this book began over 20 years ago during my weekly chiropractic session. This particular treatment was a singular experience as I found myself transported back into the womb. I literally heard myself speak. I lived my life in honor of women. Eventually, I understood that beyond me, it is innate within all men to live their lives in honor of women, and that there is a direct correlation between a man who honors women and his success as a man and in life. Women, the womb, and the world are all synonymous. This book this book has evolved over these 2 decades, now offered to you that you may live wisely and well in honor of all women. So when I realized, which I'd never realized up to that time, the full power of women, it opened up a whole new world. And then at that time I was still working as a police officer, and all my interactions with women took on a different reality. I actually could feel the draw of a woman wanting to talk to me. I used to talk to everybody. I like to talk to people. So I'd walk around on my job, and I'd actually feel a woman who wanted to talk to me. Maybe somebody I knew, I'd go over and talk to her. So it was actually an energetic pull. It was like being in a zone. It was almost surreal, but it actually, you could feel the power. So women actually have the power of transmission.
Okay.
So a woman by nature is a transmitter. A man by nature is a receiver. Your TV clicker, that's a transmitter.
There you go.
The TV's the receiver. What controls the receiver? The transmitter.
There you go.
The best analogy I've ever heard, I didn't make it up, but I heard it. Women are the puppet masters and men are the puppets, thinking they have to do more with what's going on than they do. Women have this tremendous power, and until a man fully realizes it and works in sync with it, his life will not be as good as it could be when he realizes that.
I think the partnership between men and women are extremely important. And one thing with what you were just saying reminded me of a family member whose wife died. And the partnership that they had was, of course, and this is how many relationships work, he went to work, he made the money, he brought it home, he did all the things that a man does. He had no idea what she did at home until after she passed. And they had several children together, all of the cooking, the grocery shopping, the taking care of the kids, the schedules, the going back and forth to school, to taking care of his needs and the children. How important women are. I don't even think some women even realize about how important they are and what they do and what they accomplish and what really is expected out of them. So when you say that a woman needs to be in a relationship where this man really adores her, I completely agree. And I think when a man adores a woman, that he really gets her power and her contribution into their relationship, and not just even into the relationship, but the contribution a woman is to our world. And I think that's everything.
Women in the world are synonymous. Women are the world. Female energy is the world.
Yes.
Interesting you said that. A lot of times, if you take a look at older people, and they might have been together for many years, and then say the wife dies, unless another woman comes to pick up that man's and kind of take care of him, he might die shortly thereafter. It happens a lot.
So people shouldn't be worried if, say, if their mother dies and the father is alone, they shouldn't worry about dad getting connected to another woman. They should be grateful, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I said, women are the power source of the world. Women energetically control the world, even though men physically have produced the world and generated a lot of things. I think that one of the biggest problems in the world is the subjugation of women by men. Now, all over the world, no matter where you go, it's just a matter of degree. Men, to some degree, in subtle ways and not so subtle ways, have shut down the power of women. It's like shutting down the power source in your home, or shutting it partially down. It doesn't work too well. The world works in perfect correlation to how women are treated. I say since, well over 2,000 years ago it started, but prior to maybe 3,000 years ago, there was more of a balance. Now there's not that balance. Hasn't been that balance for many years. I said maybe 3,000 years, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
So when women, if it ever comes a time when women are treated properly, most of the imbalance in the world will come back into balance.
Yeah. Do you remember years ago, and this is so many years ago, I wish I thought to bring a picture of the suffragettes, the women that they really took a stand to be heard, to be treated equal, to have the right to vote. And there is a hierarchy for sure in how people are treated in this world. The men come first, then the women, but it's not even that way really in some cultures. The women come last. It's my opinion, it's pretty appalling, to be honest with you. So I remember in one of the Middle East countries, and we all have our different cultures, we have our different rules, and I completely respect that. But the women had been doctors and teachers and everything else, and suddenly they changed the laws. And the women had to stay at home, like locked behind doors. They couldn't keep their jobs anymore. They could not be a contribution to the culture. I was shocked by that. And I'm really grateful that we live in America and that we have a lot more equal rights in America. And a lot of that still needs to be fine-tuned, folks, believe me. But the part about the women, I love it when, I'll be honest with you, when Oprah Winfrey started flying, I was like, thank God, thank God. And we know that Oprah is an amazing woman. So that was so exciting to watch this woman take off and have an amazing life. And she is an amazing role model for so many women out there. Seeing women like that, Bruce, what would you say to people, to women? What can they do to do things like Oprah? What would you say about that?
Well, how can they do things to be like Oprah? Well, they have to be in touch with their own worthwhileness,
Yes.
their own power.
Yes.
And then they have to speak it. Women have to request what they want.
Yeah.
Somebody once said the women with the biggest appetites have the most successful men.
Wow.
A woman's attractiveness is correlated with her appetite, her desire, and her ability to get what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
The more she can get, the more the men in her life will produce for her. So the world will produce for women who have big appetites.
Okay.
So the bigger a woman's appetite, her desire, her ability to get what she wants, her requesting of what she wants, the more the world will respond.
Her dreaming.
And
To
actually
be who she is and what she wants.
Oh, absolutely, and also requesting it and demanding it. So if you look at women's attractiveness and her desirability as a woman for men, it's a woman with the biggest appetites that make big requests. Men want to be with women who they can produce for, generate things for. So the women that request a lot make the men more successful. Men are born to produce. Women are born, to some degree, to consume. Consumption drives production. A man doesn't want to be with a woman, I don't need too much. He wants to be with a woman who wants a lot.
Oh, so then he can shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can become more of a man
The
for
more
her.
a man can, a man wants a woman he can do things for.
Okay.
Not some woman that doesn't want anything.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Would you honor us with some of your writings in here?
Sure.
Again, you guys stay tuned here because what you're going to hear is just amazing, really.
Things I've written about men and women, just short things, but they make an impact. Women are the masters of both love and revenge. When a relationship ends, the worst outcome is actually indifference. Hate is not a bad thing at times because it has an emotion, it has a feeling, it has a caring. Indifference has nothing. That's death.
And we've all experienced that.
A man should only be in a relationship with a woman who wants him and who he wants rather than needs. Once a man needs a woman, he's dead in the water.
Explain that.
Okay. So men need to be strong in dealing with women. They need to treat them like goddesses. At the same time, you can't abuse a woman. At the same time, the man has to be strong. So women want a man who's strong, who's that grounds them. And if a man becomes weak because he loves a woman too much or he doesn't know how to ground himself, she will then test him and he will fail the test. Then she doesn't want him anymore.
Wow.
Women will tolerate a lot from men and have over the centuries. The one thing they will not tolerate is weakness in a man. A man should never be weak around a woman. I don't care who the woman is.
Yeah. Yeah.
because she will actually get sickened by his weakness.
Wow.
And the stronger a man is, he balances his male strength and being strong in his male energy so she can rest and feel her female energy and feel the woman she is. It's that male-female balance.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I want to tell you, that's accurate. If you talk to a lot of women, what about it, girls, right? Is that true or what? Yes, that's right. What else do you have for us, Bruce?
Now here's actually one that says that. Women test men, not because they're being mean or bad. They test men to make sure the man is strong enough to be with them, and I wouldn't say protect him from the world. So if you go to lean on something, you collapse it, you can't trust it. Men have to be lean-onable.
Yes.
And not collapse.
So they've got to be able to be counted on. So when the woman is having a tough time, she can lean on him.
Yeah.
And he will be her sturdy rock.
I'll have to add something. For the most part, women don't want men's opinions unless asked for. Unless asked for. Men are always giving their opinions and this and that, and women, for the most part, don't want that unless they ask.
So let me tell you about that. What I have found out is that men are the fixers.
Yeah.
So in regard to what you just said, women don't want their opinions, but I think it's an automatic thing, and this is in honor of men too. I think it's an automatic thing that if a woman says, oh no, there's a problem here, the guys are da-da-da, I can fix that for you, honey. I mean, I've been married a couple of times, and I have learned that when a man, and I'm grateful for that, they want to fix it, but then, like you said, it comes, there's a little bit of a boundary where it seems like they're like wanting to tell you what to do, which is then taking away our power or our ideas and how we want to fix it. Then I remember when I was married one time, I had said to my husband, honey, can you help me with this? And so he would say, well, this is what I would do, and this is how we can do it. And then there was one time when I didn't listen to him, he got mad, and he said, why are you asking me? And I said, I really value your opinion, but I still have a need to do it this way. And I think that I could integrate some of your ideas into what I want to do. So that's where the balance would come in for me. But if they want to start just fixing it without considering your opinion, I think that's where some collapse comes into the relationship. Yeah. So you're right, Bruce. Women they want to express themselves. They want to figure it out. And then also taking in consideration their husband or their boyfriend's or another man's opinion, because they're brilliant. They're geniuses. And we want to have an amazing man. We want to have that great relationship because we too want to go like, oh my God, this guy's so great. Completely. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's one that actually follows what we were just talking about. Women will always challenge men, for it is their nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Women have to have that testing to find out if the man is qualified to be with them.
That's right, and I want to tell you, it's just like an interview. So when women go out and we're dating, right, there's the courtship period, and there's a courtship period, and we're going back because you and I are a little older, right? But people still need to do their courting and, checking each other out and stuff like that. You really have to have that time to have the relationship so you get to know the person. And again, it's like interviewing for a job of my husband. Are you going to be able to, do you have these qualities? Will you be able to fit the bill? Things like that. So that's exactly right.
And actually, in the start of a relationship, women always choose men, men never choose women. See, since women are transmitters, they choose the man. So she could be at a party, she could be in church, any place, and she sees a man she might be interested in or just wants to talk to. That energy, which is naturally, goes out and touches the man. The man unconsciously picks up the energy, and he may or may not come over and speak to her. She's already started the possibility of a relationship.
Wow.
So women start relationships, they steer them, and then they end them.
Okay.
When a woman stops sending her energy, the relationship is over.
Well, what do you think though when a woman has a breakup and the man initiates the breakup? What do you think's happened in that exchange?
Well, okay, the man, that might be a very smart man. A lot of times a man will initiate the breakup because he actually perceived the woman was no longer interested, and he was gentleman enough to end the relationship before she had to.
Okay, okay. I mean, there are a lot of women out here, men and women,
Or,
alike.
or he initiated the breakup because another woman wanted him more than the woman he broke up with.
All right, now we're
A
talking.
woman can take a man away from another woman
Yes.
if she has more desire.
Well, we have a lot of heartbreak out there, right?
Oh,
In
a lot.
relationships that are not being completed. But when you just said another woman can take a man away from another woman, I can see where in the relationship, if they become complacent with each other, if they lose interest and they're just in the relationship, you know, we're really encroaching upon moral standards here, you know, the rights and the wrongs and stuff like this, and you know, good etiquette, good judgment. But again, what I've said for years is if somebody's in a relationship and you're treading water, you become complacent with each other, you're losing interest, it's like, where is their life in this relationship? You've got 3 lives here. You've got the life of the woman, the life of the man, and the life of the relationship. Are you guys taking care of the relationship? And if you are losing interest in each other, be honest with each other. Let's either get the ball back rolling and honor each other and love each other, you know, bring the flames of passion back in here, or be respectful and love each other and let each other go.
Interesting you said that. I wrote a piece, and I can't remember it right now, about that. A lot of relationships have died, and people carry around the dead bodies for years. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
It's like living in a mausoleum. Relationships
Yes.
between men and women, you should respect them like you respect anything. When love is no longer there, it's no longer going to work. I don't care what is involved, whether you have kids, whatever, that's just an excuse. End the relationship so you
Yes.
can move on to something else.
It's like the blood being out of the body. The body cannot function without the blood, and the blood is the love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So relationships a lot of times die. You may still respect the person, you might even like the person, you might even still love the person, but you're
Yeah.
not in love with them anymore.
Yes. Yes.
And you need that bond to keep the relationship strong.
Yes. Yes. What else do you have to share with us?
Well, let me see now. Oh, this is a good one. Sex is not a moral issue, but a biological need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we really get stuck on. It's not morality. Now, obviously, we shouldn't indiscriminately have sex with, you know, we have to be discreet and pick wisely.
Mm-hmm.
But sex is biology, not morality, and people have confused the two, which have caused lots of heartache, a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to bond with other people of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to have that bond, that strong connection, that love. And unfortunately, and I don't, well, I'll bring in religion, but anyways,
Mm-hmm.
religion has made sex bad, has made it moral, judging by their standards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, the thing about a religion is, religion's done a lot of good things, but it's done a lot of bad things too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main things that religion has done that is really bad, all religions, is just a matter of degree, is about the subjugation of women
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and control of women. So a lot of religion was put together by weak men who wanted to control women, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem.
Or control society.
And
Yeah.
well, religion is about the subjugation of everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
especially women. So that's one of the main things one of the main problems that controls women. If you look at any country, I don't care whether it's Christianity or any other religion, it's all about the control of women.
Well, speaking about religion and the Bible, even in the Bible it says that a man should take care of his wife, and they do mean that sexually, okay? And also when we're looking at our partners and stuff, you've got to remember, and I do come from a very spiritual background, they say the temple of the Lord lies within. This is our body. And we have our communication to God, with God, through this temple. That's why we're supposed to have our body purified. And to me, when you're choosing a partner for a love relationship, for a sexual relationship, you want to judge who do you really want to share your body with, your life with. You, by honoring yourself, by picking your most amazing partner, that is a wise choice as far as I'm concerned, because why would you want to have, like just anybody, and they're not resonating at your frequency, your vibrations, you guys aren't on the same path. When you find somebody, like you said, Bruce, that this man honors this woman, she feels like a queen, she then acts like a queen, his queen.
Yeah.
She's amazing. They're amazing together. That's what you want in a love relationship. Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
When it comes to sex actually, in its pure form, is love.
Yes,
it can be
it
transmuted to love.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. If a woman's with a man that does not love her or does not love her enough,
Mm-hmm.
even though he might be nice to her,
Mm-hmm.
when he makes love to her, he's actually extracting out of her self-esteem and all the other good parts of who she is. She's actually taking out of her
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of putting in her. A man who truly and deeply loves a woman in a pure form is putting the reverse. The same man, it could be the same man with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting his self-esteem, his every part of who he is into her, fructifying her,
Mm-hmm.
filling her.
Mm-hmm.
The other person is just taking everything out of her.
So
And that sounds kind of a little bit metaphysical, but it's true.
also, when I think about the sex without love situations, to me, it occurs to me like it's very narcissistic, because it's just for the need that the person has at that time, because they're not exchanging love with each other. So everyone's got their different opinions about love and sexual intercourse, actually. And we know that the body has been given this desire to have sex since we began, and that's for the issue of procreation. If we didn't have these cravings for sex, our race would not continue. So it's very innate in the human being. It's innate in every animal that's down here on the planet. Okay. I think we could really go on about this forever, about how people got into relationships and when marriages came in. I mean, it's very historical, because it wasn't always that way. In the cave, they didn't have marriages, and in the caves, right? So it's been a progression. And for me, I just think it's wonderful with the things that you've brought up. I mean, there's so many women, so many men, and men alike, that are looking for that soulmate, for the right partner. And I think for people being able to really, get some of your sayings out of here, I think when I read your book, it was very hard for me to put it down. It really honors people. I think for women, it'll help them remember who they are as a woman. And I think also that a lot of women have not been taught this about themselves, and men as well, because we live what we learn. And if we've been raised in a dysfunctional family, if you've got an absent father, if you've got an absent mother, you've got all these things that you're learning about life at a very early age, and then people have a hard time finding that right partner. So what would you say to people, Bruce, when they've had these backgrounds where they're not quite sure about themselves with love relationships? What are they supposed to be looking for? What would you tell a woman?
Well, number one, she probably needs some healing from those past experiences.
Okay.
So one problem with women when they've been abused or shut down, they develop this hard outer shell that has to be moved through, has to be dissolved in order to open up the woman's softness and her femininity again. Mm-hmm. A woman needs to be with a man. See, here's one of the main things men need to do with women. What a man is there for a woman for is to take away the pain, to absorb the pain that she's had previously in her life. A man can do that. So a woman needs to be with a man who will take away that pain, take away that suffering, and open up and dissolve all the past experiences so she's fresh and open and just, just soft and lovable again.
And feeling empowered as a woman.
Empowered, yeah. And here's one thing with women. All women are goddesses, like I said in my thing. I don't care who they are, what they look like, all women are goddesses. They have this power, they have this thing that just, illuminates the world. Yeah, women are the world.
Thank you. So would you give us some more of those little
Sure.
tidbits of knowledge that you have there?
Men are happiest when they are producing in life, especially for women. That's what we're here for. Remember, women consume, men produce. And men are looking for, whether realized or not, a woman to love. See, by nature, women or men are the ones who are the romantics. They're the ones who actually are more romantic than women to a degree. And women are more realistic about love. Or somebody, as I said here, men fall in love and women negotiate the contract.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
That's one of my sayings in the book.
Okay.
And here's one I like. Adam corrupted Eve, she did not corrupt him. Man is always the corrupter. The Bible got it wrong. The Bible got it wrong.
Oh no.
Man is always the corrupter. In fact, because women are Mother Nature, women are always pure and innocent regardless of history. I don't care who a woman is. A good example, even though it's only a movie that makes it point, Pretty Woman.
Okay.
Was a great movie. Here's a woman who become hardened by being a prostitute, and a man comes along and loves her, and she gets soft and beautiful and just radiant again.
Then you get to see who she really is.
Her light came back, yeah.
Yes.
So a woman's life is never totally dimmed. So women by nature are 100% pure and innocent. Men are about 80-90%, but women are pure and innocent.
Beautiful.
So I said that because man is always the corrupter, even though it doesn't always look like that on the surface.
Okay. Well, I just want to say something about some amazing men that are out there. I've seen such beautiful men. You're one of them, by the way.
Thank you.
That really make me want to just keep meeting more amazing men. And it's like you said, you talk to everybody, and you do. And it's so exciting to meet people and to identify their own special light and their personality and who they are. And I just want to say this, that there are so many women out there that, like you said, have gotten this harder shell, have withdrawn, they've closed off. And just for them to sit here and keep remembering who they are and identifying what they love about themselves and finding that special place in life where they can express themselves in the world. Hopefully it's going to be in an amazing relationship with a man. And if it's not, for certain times, just get out there, be yourself, find out who you are, for those of you that have closed off and stuff. But don't let these relationships that you've had impact you in such a way that you stop being who you are. That's what we want for everybody. Be who you are. Remember who you are. We're all children of God. We are all sons and daughters of God. And that's what people have to remember. We are children of a king. Yeah.
I actually want to read something and extrapolate it a little bit. Fun and pleasure make life worth living. So if you take a look at a relationship between a man and a woman in the beginning, they're having fun and pleasure.
Yeah.
They're going places, they're recreating, whatever. Fun and pleasure are kind of like the feeding mechanism, the channel to love. It feeds love, it keeps it alive. Now, if you remove fun and pleasure and you remove that from the relationship over time, the relationship will die. You
Gets
need to have
boring.
fun and pleasure. Yeah.
Gets boring.
So fun and pleasure actually are probably the highest, fun and pleasure may be the two highest levels of functioning in life. So it's like out of the context of fun and pleasure, everything else occurs. Love occurs, generosity occurs, joy occurs, health occurs. So you have to have fun and pleasure in a relationship to keep it alive.
So I want to say this. In the organization that we've gone to for classes, it's called Landmark Education. And there's, in the forum is the first class people take to start this program. And in that course, there's a term called the already always listening. So I think what happens in many relationships is people get an attitude about somebody. Once they adopt this attitude about somebody, they can no longer hear them differently. They can no longer see them with great opportunities around them. I think that's when things start to die, because they feel it's like, well, that's just the way they are. They don't give them a chance. They don't look for something new and different. If people could listen to people newly every day, I think they'd be able to get excited again and go like, well, that was him yesterday. Psh, that's okay. I forgive him for him being Mr. Krabby Pants yesterday, but what can we do together today? As you said, fun and exciting, and like falling back in love with this person each and every day. Yeah.
And also what you said, and I'll just say it simply, love is a function of communication. What happens, people get out of communications, there's things they haven't said to the other person they need to say, maybe lies, maybe things they've held back.
Sure.
So you need to clean the space. So anything you haven't communicated to another human being, especially your partner, puts a wedge between you and that person.
And that's true, because you're always thinking about it. It's like, oh, I didn't tell them the truth. Yeah. And then you think about it all the time, and that really blocks you. You're right.
Yeah, so it blocks you. So you have to keep on. Love is not easy.
No.
Love has never been easy, never will be easy, but it's the best thing we have going.
You bet it is. You bet it is. So, Bruce, what else do we have in that little booklet of love?
I'll just look through here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. Men stay with women who validate their manhood. Mm-hmm. That one you can take to the bank.
Yeah.
So here's the thing between men and women. Men need to be respected and admired. Mm-hmm. Women need to be cherished and adored. Two different energy fields.
Would you say that again? I really want people to hear that, and look directly at the camera when you say that, please.
Men need to be respected and admired. Women need to be cherished and adored. We have two different energy fields going there.
So explain that more deeply, please.
Well, men need to be respected and admired because that's the way their energy field works. Now, if you take a look at in a new relationship, the woman is looking admiringly at the man, maybe holding his arm. She's respecting and admiring him, and he's looking at her and cherishing and adoring her. I mean, it's like that way. Oh, here's one more thing I just thought in regards to that. See, women have this thing that they need to be respected. It makes women fair game on the playing field of life. That's like a man.
Okay.
She needs to be cherished and adored, not respected. Women's liberation was a failure because they said women want to be equal. Women don't want to be equal. They want to be distinctly known as women from men, and they want to be treated special. Equal's a trap too. When a woman's equal, she's fair game for any man, for anything, sex or whatever. So equal is a trap. So the women's lib movement actually was a failure, and it did more harm to women, and it didn't do the harm to men. So the thing is, women don't want to be equal. They want to be distinctly known from men, so they're their own person. And they want to be treated special, which they should. They want to be cherished and adored.
So what I can say to you about that is that, so you're speaking to a woman about that. Now, a lot of the women in our listening audience might not agree with you on wanting to be equal. And I think, so I just saw the movie Hidden Figures. Have you seen that?
Yeah, wonderful movie. I loved it.
Oh my God, it was so phenomenal. And these women, these black women, in a time period, quite a while ago, these were amazing women. They were not being treated equally. It was very disheartening. And they were brilliant, brilliant women. Now you got to see these amazing black women in their relationships, out in their jobs in society. And with what you said, these women had these amazing relationships where these men did adore them and worship them. So they had their families, they had their personal lives, but then they were out in society. And in our society, they have paid men more money for the same jobs that women can do, and some women do it better than the men. So I think when we're talking about equality between the races, not just between the races, okay? Between the races, between our sexes. You've got so many different distinctions that are going on that of course have not been equal, have not been fair. And when people are feeling like they're being put down or not respected and treated equally, because that's where this would be coming in, this does become an issue, because they will go ahead and try to use these women, or whoever it is, the men or the women, and try to get them to produce and use them, right? And not give them equal pay. So I really believe that this is probably still a very touchy subject for many people. But even if when they go home, Bruce, like you said, and they honor and respect their husband, and he worships and adores her, they've got that amazing relationship at home, and I believe that's when they become empowered. But I've seen many men, because I've been doing psychic readings for over 30 years, and I see these amazing men supporting their wives, their women, when they are not being treated fairly at work. And they're like, no, honey, fight the fight. You know, get what you so rightfully deserve.
Okay, so I think I might have you might have misinterpreted what I said. What I meant is, women don't want to be equal, they want to be distinctly known as women and treated special, which is better than equal. So what I'm saying is equal is, what I'm speaking about is higher than equal. So equal, you can put equal aside, and so if women are treated special and treated like goddesses, that's better than equal. They're going to get more than their fair share.
Okay.
And as far as other things, I'm just relating that to the man-woman game. Obviously, I believe...
Okay, to the man-woman game. I gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
obviously, I believe in equality.
Yes.
And people should be treated equal, but especially women need to be treated actually better than equal. And special is better than equal.
So if you remember in the movie The Hidden, yes, right? If you remember in the movie The Hidden Figures, it goes back to the three amazing, brilliant black women that were working for NASA, in case you haven't seen, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this movie yet. When this woman came in who was a computer, they call them a computer, and she came into the NASA program, there was a lot of jealousy in this one program, in this one room. And the man that was extremely jealous, I believe he was no, he wasn't an engineer. I think he was a scientist. Anyway, he was very jealous of the woman that came in. At the end of the movie, he was the one that brought her a cup of coffee on the desk. That was so perfect. That was so perfect.
I loved it.
It was so perfect. So please go see that movie, you guys, Hidden Figures. There's so many great romances out there that we know. They're, the famous ones, Romeo and Juliet. Oh God, there are just so many. We look at Elizabeth Taylor, and oh my God, I suddenly can't remember his name, that she was so in love with him.
Richard Burton.
Richard Burton, how could we forget that? But love is truly what makes the world go round. We know that. We know that. And it is a woman, I also agree with you, wants to look up to her man. And he wants to have somebody to adore. I completely agree with you, Bruce. Yeah. I don't know how you gathered all of this knowledge and all of this passion for women, but I really appreciate what you have done with you've been writing how many years? How many years have you been writing all of this down?
Oh, actually, probably back to around 2009. But I had the
Okay.
experience of being back in the womb in 1994, and I really didn't write it down, but I observed, observed if it fit. And I never saw an instance in which it didn't fit. Because once you see how something works, that's the way it is.
It just works.
Actually, let me read you a couple more here.
Please.
A man without a woman is like a stray dog wandering in the wilderness. Men, as I said, men need women more than women need men.
Okay.
And I know this other one I'm not going to read. I'll just say it from memory. The baddest men on the planet are putty in the hands of the women they love.
Wow.
The baddest men.
Wow.
I've known some pretty tough guys.
Wow.
When I was younger and I weighed about 40 pounds heavier, I could bench press 400 and clean and jerk 350.
Wow.
Those days are over. But the point is that I've known some pretty strong guys.
Yeah.
Boxers, street fighters, things like that. And when a woman has a man's number,
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's cool. That's cool. So, well, I just have to ask you for more because, again, we've talked on the phone and we've talked several times. Not only do you have the writings in this book, but I understand you're looking at writing another book.
Yeah, I want to write another book on sayings I've said about life. I've written about life and death. I mean, all things: life, death, love, genocide. I've written things on everything. I'll read you a couple if you want.
Would you please?
Let me see. I got a thing here. I see love as the ultimate form of renewal for anything living. There are examples everywhere. Anything that is love flourishes, and anything that is not wilts or dies. Renewal through love is everywhere. Remember the movie Rocky about a down-and-out club fighter whose rise to greatness came through the love of a woman. There are numerous examples through history where people have not only been renewed by love, but ascended to greatness. But I don't have to give those lofty examples every minute, hour, and day. All over the world, millions of people are being renewed by love. I'm not finished yet. Everything that is living is being renewed through love. What does love have to do with life? Everything.
Yes, it does.
And here's one I wrote probably a number of years ago, 2014 actually. Today is Valentine's Day, and it's time that we celebrate the people we hold as precious in our life. Who or what do you hold as precious in your life? I first hold myself and my life as precious, as without self-love, I cannot love another. I then project that love to all of the people and things that I hold as precious to me. I see precious and love as not singular but plural, and they should be expressed as such. We need to regularly celebrate the spirit of Valentine's Day by telling the people in our lives that we love them and they are precious to us. Here's one that I think, and all these apply, I would say, to everyone.
So this is not just about loving, men and women, but it's truly about love.
Well, the food of life is love.
Yes, it is.
And if you take babies that aren't held or touched, they either get sick or die.
That's true.
So we need it from here's one that really kind of says it all. This is called the residue of love. When I look over my life and the people I have loved, I see the residue of love is everywhere. The residue has inflamed my soul and kept open the wellspring of my heart. Love may wane, but never can be destroyed and will always leave a residue. The residue of love creates a kaleidoscopic collage that gives you strength and comfort as you move through life. When all else is gone and you are on your deathbed, what remains is the residue of love. What you leave to this world is love.
Wow, that's beautiful. Just beautiful.
And let me grab a couple more.
Okay. You know, people want to really hear this stuff, Bruce. So that's why I hope
Here's
you
one
get
that's
this other
very
book
true
out
for
soon.
me. Most men are not afraid of losing life as much as they are afraid of losing love.
Okay.
So men, when they're little boys, are told, be strong, don't cry, hold it all in. So men have all this contained love, looking for some woman to just plop it on, just kind of dump it on.
Well, to share it with,
To
right?
share it with, yeah.
Yeah. And for a woman to sit there and look at this man and go like, wow, he's really been inhibited for a long time, and to give him that freedom just to be who he is completely, that is truly a gift in a relationship.
I said men need women more than women need men. Women are basically more realistic about love. For instance, just to show you how crazy people can be, when a man is not winning in life, because a man's whole life is about winning and losing, he can get dangerous, and especially if he loses his woman. This man that just put this murder on YouTube, or it was on Facebook,
I didn't see it.
and then they found him, he committed suicide. The whole thing was triggered by his woman breaking up with him.
Oh man. Well, also, you know, I just want to say, if anyone's in a position where they are feeling suicidal, homicidal, please make sure you call a health professional to get that handled, because sometimes we can fracture, we can break down. Losing love is not the end of the world, but love is the world, so we can see how that completely impacts us. So Bruce, our time has flown by like crazy. Oh my God, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. You are a great contribution to the world and to women, and I thank you for that. I want to ask you, how can people get a hold of your book? Is it in a library, or where can they find this book?
They can get it from the library.
Okay, great. And if you had one last thing to say to women, and I want to say that, you know, I'd love to have you on again, actually, because you've got so much more to share. But what's the one thing that you could say to people?
Actually, I wrote something a number of years back, and I think I have it here. Actually, so this is the last thing I want to say about love is we all want to love and to be loved, to profoundly matter in the life of another and life itself. We all yearn for love, want to touch its face and experience its power. When a man and a woman who love each other make love, they profoundly touch the face of love and experience its power.
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate having you here. So great, so exciting. Yes.